music.
Honestly. And it's wild because obviously we spoke a little bit about upsets already, but like Luugi has just been the like stoic presence in this bracket. He's had no issues so far leading up to this point. And honestly, it feels like in the past sort of 6 months or so, Luugi has become a new man, right? You know, we've been talking a lot for the first time ever, you know, ranked first on the UK PR. Obviously had that, you know, sometimes once in a lifetime result of that 5th place at the most recent Genesis. So it really seems like Luugi has come into his own, but you know, it's going to be interesting to see how Octave, already on this very, very strong run of his own, whether he's able to take on sort of the titan of this event.
Yeah. And it really doesn't feel like Genesis was once in a lifetime right now. Luugi looks the same every single bracket, and you couldn't say that 1 or 2 years back. 1 or 2 years back, it could be really, really matchup dependent. He was good against owners. He was never great, but now he's great, and it's already showing as he takes the first stock of Octave. Amazing up smash, roll read from ledge. Fantastic start for Luugi, who, yeah, is showing that he's really well prepped for all these matchups that Luigi historically has really struggled in.
I think it's the wild part, right? Because Octave in particular, I was speaking a little bit with some people about this earlier on, but like Octave really hasn't been outside of Scotland too much in recent memory, but is sort of, you know, unequivocally the strongest Pac-Man in the UK. And there are a couple across, you know, the wider fields of Europe, but it's one of those matches where in the UK, it is very, very rare to find a Pac-Man on this level. So there was this like very small feeling of doubt in my mind about, you know, is Luugi going to have that matchup practice? Is going to be able to sort of weave in and out of what Octave is trying to go for? But it really feels at the moment, certainly from this game 1, that Luugi has got a very good grip on this matchup, and that it's going to be Octave that's going to have to make the adjustments.
And moment is the operative word. With Luigi, it really is a question of moments, like knowing when exactly is your turn, when you get to go in, and when you should just be disengaging and waiting for your time. It looks like Luigi presses a lot of burns, and he does try and put out a lot of hitboxes because they're relatively lifeless in neutral. But Luigi, with his movement, usually is going to be trying and waiting, getting some roll-ins, or maybe looking for a rising fair that he can convert into an air to make sure he gets that opening in neutral. And it's actually really safe about it. He takes his time, and right now that is paying dividends. 2 stocks on Octave, 1 stock on Luugi, but almost lapped in percent, and a very, very easy spot to kill there. That Cyclone is going to be doing it, and that is 3 stocks to 1 for Luugi, who is making an incredible entrance into this set.
Yeah, already we're seeing a couple of bits and pieces, right? We're seeing this sort of like anti-hydrant play, particularly when he's trying to get back to stage. That's a really big one. Sort of throwing out these little hitboxes that are, you know, like popping the hydrant just at the point where Octave wants to send it for himself. Yeah. And it means that he's reversing that sort of ledge trap situation before it even occurs. And even then, there was a lovely moment where he sort of threw out a fireball and it hit the fruit before it even went near him. So it's already these like preemptive plays that he's like, okay, I get the basics of what Octave is going to be going for. I get the kind of options that he's going to try and be covering, and we can just see the result of it already. Octave having to take him all the way up to 200% to get that first stock, and Luugi is just looking incredibly comfortable.
Yeah, this second stock is looking a little bit better for Octave. Luugi kind of scrambling and shield just there, and Octave very ready to convert off of it and turn it into a lot of percent. However, it's just so quickly he loses that advantage state. Luugi answers back really, really well. He finds a lot of flaws in people's advantage states, and like where he can just sort of slide in with a nair, with a fair, with a cyclone, of course, with that invincibility, and kind of takes it apart, and all of a sudden it's his turn, and it's really, really scary when it's his turn. It's really scary when he's got that bell in hand as well. This is going to paralyze, and an amazing conversion up with the up smash straight from ledge. What recognition, Joycey!
Honestly, the fact that Luugi knew in that moment that he had just enough time for the up smash. I was wondering if maybe, you know, because he had that little bit of a stall on the ledge. I don't think he got quite back to it as quickly as he wanted. And I wondered whether if maybe he would try and go for something like, say, like a full hop back air to maybe try and catch the trajectory on the way back. But again, Luugi just having that awareness, knowing that at that percent with that bell, I've got enough time to neutral, get up smash, and then, you know, tail as old as time. 1-0 currently to Luugi at the moment. Let's see what adjustments Octave can make. We're not seeing an adjustment with the stage. We are seeing, of course, the small battle pick. These two, they like to scrap a little bit. Octave, sort of not necessarily the most defensive Pac-Man player in the world. He does obviously likes his tricks and his traps, but at the same time, he's more than happy to go toe-to-toe with characters with those sort of faster buttons, that better frame data. But again, at the same time, you've got to make it. You've got to make those percents matter, right? At the end of the day, you took up to 200% to get the first stock. And Pac-Man can kill so much earlier than that if given the opportunity. But that's the thing with Luugi, is that he's not being given the opportunities, and one forward air and tried to catch with the bell, but just a little bit off on the spacing.
Yeah, just have the bell in hand now, though, and he's going to be using the pressure out. Yeah, ill-advised F smash on the throw. It's honestly a bit of an odd option from Octave considering throwing items in this game, usually not very laggy at all, and I don't think Luugi's going to go for something without knowing that it hit. But there, he does not quite wait, does not quite get hit by that key conversion, and that would have been a key conversion because now Octave is taking 83 from that situation at the ledge. Luugi, having on the ledge, doesn't read the roll this time, but Octave is representing that option maybe a bit too much. Luugi is going to recognize that, recognizes that he's still safe on ledge, that Octave is kind of just swinging too early right now, and at the moment he is using that to its fullest extent, 99% on this second Pac-Man stock in the blink of an eye, and it's looking kind of tough now.
Yeah, it feels like Octave just sort of, he didn't quite have enough time to react to that moment. He didn't realize that he had the hit on the bell, didn't quite manage to get off of it. And then it's almost that moment where you feel like you've earned that kill, and then, 105% later, you finally do manage to get it with that forward tilt. But at the same vein, all it takes is one down throw, and then suddenly what seemed like a really good opportunity to grab that lead has just slipped away from you. And now an entire stock deficit here in the favor of Luugi.
My goodness, that advantage continuing to 41%, puts Octave to the stage, not at all scared either. That trampoline, Luugi's using it for himself, and it really has been a name of using all of Pac-Man's tools for himself. You said that this would be a hard matchup to learn. It seems like Luugi's mastered it almost, the way that he knows how to grab every single fruit, the way he knows how to abuse trampoline, the way he's abusing this Pac-Man in general right now, as he has Octave down to 83%, down air, not going for spike, but 108%. Grab comes out, no purchase, however, 108, roll straight into the air smash though. What a setup from Octave to answer back a little bit, but it is 0 to 108. Back air, not quite going to do it. Pac-Man's a little bit of a heavy guy, but it's looking a little bit tough right now. Octave needs to find a way off the ledge. Great jump. There's the down B.
Yeah, it's so difficult, that combo break at that 0, 10, 20%. You've got to be so careful trying to get anything extra against Luigi, of course. You're now at that point where you can extend those combos a little bit further, but it might be too little, too late. The dash attack not quite being enough so far. 168% on the board being added, that little bit more, and yeah, the coverage there. But beautiful DI from Octave, just hanging on and just really draining every drop of juice. Is it going to be enough? Yeah, just about.
Even with the correct DI that time as well, that was good DI, but 194, not many characters are going to live that cyclone.
Honestly, really stunning defensive play there from Octave all the way through that, recognizing how dicey that situation was, and, sort of was throwing little shades, little hints of this comeback that could potentially happen, but Luugi just about managing to keep his nerve, holding it together to seal out that game 2. But it does feel like Octave is making slow but sure adjustments. It does feel like he's beginning to get his footing in the matchup here and there. He's got a couple of nice reads as well, some defensive habits from Luugi being exploited a little bit. But again, this is Luugi. You're only going to catch him once with that, so you got to reset it, try and keep it out of the brain, and see if you can manage to get a game on the board against the plumber.
I think you're right, though. It is footing. He's found a few places to hold on, and he can kind of cling to the side of the mountain. Luugi's already at the top is the problem. You can't just catch up. You have to surpass if you're going to win these games, because Luugi, because he gets so much off of every single interaction, and he kills so easily from that down throw up B, is already just so far ahead, so you can't just adapt. You need to overcome, and it's tough. It's tough when the player you're fighting against is one of the fundamentally greatest players in the UK right now, perhaps the fundamentally greatest player in the UK right now, and it is really tough as well when he doesn't miss with his execution either.
Yeah, and you can see the little shield wiggles. Luugi is feeling really confident, very much in the zone. Top seed at this event by, I would say, a significant margin as well. He's been doing so well for himself, and is going to see if we can get a second conversion. Doesn't quite manage to get it with the fireball, but has a back air ready and waiting. I love these little confident attempts with Luugi. I do believe that you can intercept once the pillar's been eaten, so you're able to get in there and get, even if it takes a couple of hits to do, you can still get that percent, and it is 3 stocks to 1 right now in the favor of Luugi, and it is exactly as you said. The problem is that, in this situation, when the mountain is Luugi, he is not just staying put. He's making adjustments himself. He has taken data, and he's going to take that data all the way through to winners semi-finals. There's a clean 3-0 in the favor of Luugi as he advances.
Yep. This is it, right? He's standing at the top of the mountain, and Luigi down towards your hand. You get sent plummeting all the way down, because that's the toughness of it all. You can make as many adaptations as you want to those later ends when Luugi perhaps doesn't have those kill confirms on lock, or perhaps he's struggling a bit in neutral. It doesn't matter if you're not already there at 0%. 0% is the most important percent for Luigi. If you cannot overcome it at this time, if you can't keep pace with him, you're dead. You don't have this chance to come back.
It's like It almost feels to me like you're playing poker against like a grandmaster, but then every now and again they just like, if they have the joker card in their hand, it's just an instant lose. And that's what the 0 to death feels like. It's like you've got this really solid fundamental